The Audacity of She. Incisive conversations with women who are challenging the status quo to create wildly fulfilling lives. Plus, practical information you can apply to your life right now. Hi, thanks so much for joining me today. This week's conversation is with Dana Roquemore, who is the founder of the Dinner Party Project. I first heard about Dana's work through my friend Jenny Joy, who is also featured on season 1 of this show. Dana's name is Dana Marie and mine is Dana Cherie, so on that alone, I figured we would just have to connect because there's not many of us out there. But I was really inspired by what she's doing with this Dinner Party Project. They bring together people from different walks of life to have really good dinners and really good conversations and connect around different topics. So I was really fascinated by the work that she's doing and wanted to know how I can bring this model to my city, and B, wanted to know how she arrived at this place because her work is super cool. So in this conversation, you will learn, how she ended up here. We talk about her sabbatical when she took her small business and let someone else run it. She cleaned out her savings account and she took the sabbatical to Australia and New Zealand and just gave herself a break. We talk about how coming back to Orlando, she was able to tap into her passion and start this Dinner Party Project. And we also talk about how she's growing and how she's managing the business side of the business. I know a lot of the people who listen to this show, maybe you're included, are creative, whether we're entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial at heart. We're very creative. So the business stuff is a little hard to discipline ourselves into. So you'll hear how Dana is navigating those challenges to usher in this next phase of the Dinner Party Project. It was really cool to meet with her, and I really liked hearing her perspective. So enjoy this conversation, and I will see you on the other side. Dana, hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well.
Great. So happy that you're here with us today. Thank you for joining me.
You are most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we can just dive right in. My first question for you is, you're the founder of the Dinner Party Project, and that's like your main gig right now, but you haven't always been. So tell us, what was life like before TDPP?
Sure. Yeah. So I have been kind of in the events industry for about 12, 13 years. So that just kind of started through friends who were kind of in that industry already, and they kind of got me into it. I had done a lot of event execution for like large scale events. So traveling the US and helping to do like event execution, event logistics for either different marketing companies or large scale conferences. So I really loved kind of like the live energy of being at events and managing people and managing all the details that it takes to make something of a large scale happen smoothly. So it's a very kind of crazy, hectic, long hours, a lot of work, kind of like intense for a couple of days at a time. And I kind of liked that environment. So I did that for a lot of years. And then I also did like wardrobe styling in my own personal small business for a couple of years, which I really enjoyed. Also helping people to find kind of their own style, helping them shop secondhand if possible, and just helping them to find like a wardrobe that would help fit their lifestyle and make them feel good in their clothing and their own skin. So,
yes. Oh, I
yeah.
was perusing your Instagram. What did that lead me to? Your website. And I saw like a portfolio on there. Were those people that you styled?
Yes. Yeah. If they were in my portfolio, they would have been people that I was, either personally styled with or was involved with the shoot. But I think all the ones on my website are ones that are my own styling.
That looks amazing. Really good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then now doing the Dinner Party Project, what is it that you hope to accomplish with that work?
So I hope to get people feeling more connected. And I just think that there's something really special that happens when you kind of can sit down around a dinner table and kind of meet some people that you wouldn't normally have a chance to share a meal with, and then find the ways that we are so interconnected. So it could be, people from really different backgrounds or different industries, but finding the commonalities and sharing stories. Maybe even you have friends in common, or you went to the same school, or you're into the same hobbies. So I would love for people to feel a little bit more known and a little bit more connected.
Hmm. Super cool. And then how did you decide that you wanted to pursue this dinner party project model? And like, how did you get the courage to take that leap? What was that transition like?
Well, I guess that transition is a little bit longer of a story, in the story of kind of how Dinner Party Project came to be. In that regard, like I said, I'd been doing events for a long time and kind of running my own small business. And back in 2013, I kind of came to a place where I was pretty tired and hadn't really had a break in a long time. And so at the end of that year, I just decided to do what any normal, responsible adult would do. And I was going to quit my part-time job and kind of let somebody else run my small business, and clean out my savings account and just go take a sabbatical. So I
Uh,
left Orlando for about 3 to 4 months and went traveling to Australia and New Zealand for a while, and didn't really have any purpose or agenda or a need to come away from that trip with, excuse me, um, a new project or a new thing to kind of work towards. But I just was going to go and take a break. And so I did that. And then I came back to Orlando after those couple of months. And I just kind of was still in this place of like, man, I'm not sure exactly what I want to be doing. I didn't really want to go back into the same events world that I was in. And I was really in a place of kind of frustration and, yeah, a bit of a funk. And so when I came back after that trip, a friend of mine asked me, what brings you joy and what brings you life? And what are you doing what are you not doing that you should be doing? And so I thought about that, and I thought, well, gosh, if I could just do anything that I wanted to do, I guess I would throw dinner parties for a living. I love the magic that happens around a dinner table when we kind of set the table with intentionality. We bring in some drinks, we bring in great food, great people, conversation. And I was just like, I kind of had done that intrinsically. Personally, I love food and drink a lot. I'm not really a cook myself, but I love to gather people and kind of entertain, if you will. So I just thought I would love to mix it up. I've been in Orlando for a long time, since 2000. So I have known a lot of people just socially at a very casual level. And I felt like I don't really know these people that well. I see them out at parties or whatever, but you just kind of make the same small talk and you don't really get to know them that well.
mhm.
And then like I said, I've lived here for a long time. So I've got some really deep friendships with people that are so amazing. And some of those people didn't know each other. And then I wanted to meet some new people myself. So I was thinking, I'll just throw everyone's name into a hat. I'll pull out 7 names plus myself, invite them over into my home for a dinner party, and we'll have some questions around the table and we'll just see what happens. So
Mm.
that was kind of the transition of kind of where I was beforehand, and then how I kind of started kind of this just a new, I needed something new for myself. So it wasn't really a business idea initially. It was more of just like, I'm at this place where I'm not sure what I'm passionate about. And this is something that I found that I was passionate about.
Mm. Now, when you guys sit down for the dinner conversations, do you have like scripted questions that you go through? How do you ensure that you get this outcome of having more meaningful conversations when you bring these strangers together?
Sure, absolutely. So we have guest hosts that sit in with every dinner party. So our main concept is dinner for 8. So one of those 8 people is the guest host for the evening. So that guest host, we kind of have this like long list of random questions that you can choose from. So usually they're choosing questions among that list, or they're choosing questions that they think would be relevant to the group or the time. The guest hosts kind of go through a training, and we just kind of make sure that they are a good fit for hosting people. So we really trust them to help lead that conversation really well. And, we have found that every guest host is different, and they really bring a really special and awesome way of hosting to the table, and they do a really great job.
Huh.
So we don't
Cool.
mandate what questions they ask around the table. We just we have a lot of choices for them, and then we trust that they will choose a good mix of them.
Huh. Yeah, cool. I really like that. So I know you have really exciting things that are going on behind the scenes as you continue to grow and expand this project. And I know there's people all over the US who are contacting you because they want to bring this dinner party project to their city. So, how do you manage your current workload with also doing this streaming and planning your bigger vision for this business?
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess that's a very timely question. Right now, I am looking for like a COO to come in and partner with me. And as I've grown this thing over the past like 3+ years, I've just learned what my strengths and what my challenges are. And so I know that I would love to grow the Dinner Party Project to other cities around the US. As you mentioned, we have gotten a lot of interest in that. But I really feel like, I need somebody with like more of a business mindset, business development, kind of um, revenue models, planning for us to be able to grow. And so I'm hoping with bringing on that person in that position that the both of us can kind of partner together and bring in some internal structure to this idea and figure out like how do we scale this sustainably and really well to other cities around the US.
Huh. Okay. And now, what's a big challenge that you've encountered now that, because something that could have just taken you off your path, but you chose to keep going with this anyways? So, what was that? And what helped you to keep moving forward despite that adversity?
Sure. I think it's a continual challenging of myself. As I mentioned, I don't really have a business background, and it's not something business development kind of that whole realm is very challenging for me. Marketing, sales is not really in my background, and so that is something that I'm continually challenged with. And there's a lot of times where I feel like, man, I'm really out of my depth. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. And I've stayed with it, I guess, because I love the product of what we do. I love hearing people say, like, wow, I've gotten like clients out of, meeting people at Dinner Party Project. I've made real friends. I've made real connections. What you have executed, you've done really well. So I have stuck with it because I believe in it. And I'm still challenged by, the business side of things because I'm more interested in the creative side of things.
Mm, yeah, totally. So, what would you recommend for a woman who has a dream of creating something? Because I think your model is pretty unique. So, someone who wants to create something that she's not really seen in the real world, what would you say to her to help nudge her on her path of bringing this vision to life?
That's a great question. I would say talk about it with friends and family. I would say figure out what the scale is. Like if you're wanting to do this on the side, if you're wanting to do this as a transition into your whole job, think about the sustainable ways um, that this can happen. I think that there's a really real um, also let me back up. I also think like analyzing your personality as far as like, is this something that is going to be sustainable for me, and am I going to get started and be really excited about it, but can I continue it on, or do I see the long vision and know that I'm the person that is able to execute something like this? What expectations you're putting on whatever it is that you want to see come to fruition, if you're going to know that you're going to carry it by yourself, or if you're going to bring in other people to help you realize your dreams. um, Making a plan for that. and then just knowing the expectations of what you're doing, and if you really are going to see it through, because there's a lot of ideas and ideation, and I could do this, I could do that, but there's also a real burnout if you get into it and you don't have the real resources that you need to be sustainable.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool. Okay, well, I think that's it for this first segment. We'll take a quick break and come back, and then I would love to know what book you recommend.
Okay, sure.
All right, great. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
This segment is brought to you by Audible. For you, my friends and listeners of the Audacity of She, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial so you can check out their service for yourself. I've used Audible consistently month over month to have access to all of my favorite books. To see my recommended list and start your free trial, visit theaudacityofshe.com/books. Again, that's theaudacityofshe.com/books. Okay, we are back and we are talking with Dana, the other Dana, and I would love to know, what is one book you recommend that all women read for their personal development?
Yes, I am a huge lover of books. So, one book that I am currently rereading right now, I was actually reading it this morning, is a book called Present Over Perfect, and it's by Shauna Niequist. And I really love that author. So, all of her books are pretty amazing. I would recommend them. Present Over Perfect is pretty incredible. It's kind of talking to when we arrive at places, kind of like I was at a couple of years ago, but arriving at those places where you're feeling kind of burned out and not sure exactly, like where, why, or what your purpose is, or what you're moving towards, and how you kind of find yourself in this place where your life is kind of frantic. But how you kind of stop and realize that, like, if you're not living the life that you are loving to live, kind of like how you stop and slow down and reconnect with your purpose and focus more towards, what it is that who you want to be, and the person that you want to be in your life, to your friends and to your family, and what is going to bring you joy, instead of, maybe it's not saying yes all the time, maybe it's saying no, and reserving more time for yourself, for healthy development, for loving yourself, and then you can love others well through that.
Yeah, cool. And why do you think this book in particular is so important for people to read?
Because I think it's very important. Like, self-awareness, I think, is one of the most important things that we can do. Knowing who we are. I'm a huge fan of, like, personality tests, and the Enneagram is one of my favorites, and Myers-Briggs as well. But it's like being able to know how you operate, and so knowing yourself really well, like what makes you healthy, what makes you stressed out, what does it look like when I'm stressed out, and going down that path. What are the triggers for me? How can I avoid that? When I'm feeling stressed, what are some of the ways that I can, like, shift and redirect my course, so that I don't have to go down the paths, continually to go down the same path and keep on healing the same old broken wounds, but healing, getting healthy and whole, so that you're really in touch with yourself, and knowing, in whatever role that you're going to be in, like, here's who I am, here's how I operate, being aware of other people around you, so I can know different personality wise, so we're not communicating on different levels, and I'm not trying to force somebody else to communicate or work in a manner that doesn't suit them. But I think the more we know ourselves and how we operate, the more we know how other people are kind of built internally, and that we can honor them and work well together in that situation is, I think, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, so important. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, cool. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I'm not sure. I mean, thank you so much for having us. We love what we're doing. We're hoping to grow. So as we expand, You can keep up with us on our website, thedinnerpartyproject.co. We're on, social media, Instagram, Facebook. We'd love to connect with you. So if there's any questions that you have for me, you're always welcome to email me, Dana Marie at hellotdpp.com. And we're excited to grow. Thank you for wanting to chat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone who's listening, you can also grab links to all the places Dana mentioned in the show notes. So definitely check out her work. Dana, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really awesome to talk with you.
You are welcome so much. Thank you, Dana.
Yeah, take care.
All right, likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye. Did today's topic inspire you, encourage you, or challenge you to look at your own processes in a different way? Join us in our Facebook group to continue the conversation. It's where all the good stuff happens after the show. It's theaudacityofshe.com/Facebook. Again, that's theaudacityofshe.com/Facebook. See you there.